The Yemeni government condemned in the strongest terms the continued Houthi militia stealing WFP food aid and hampering humanitarian action in Yemen. In a statement, the Houthi militias blamed the World Food Programme decision on partial suspension of humanitarian aid operations in areas controlled by the Houthi militia, especially in the city of Sana'a, which will affect the 850,000 of the Yemeni most in need of children and women. The Foreign Ministry called on the international community and the Security Council to condemn these violations by the Houthi militias and exert pressure and to allow the United Nations organizations, especially the World Food Programme, to carry out their duties and carry out their noble and humanitarian responsibilities in Yemen. The government continued to provide everything possible to facilitate its noble mission to deliver food aid and alleviate the suffering of the people of Yemen throughout the country. Minister of Information Muammar al-Iryani said that Iran is spreading terrorism in our country through its Houthi agents, and it's using our country as a platform to threaten neighboring countries and international shipping corridors. It will continue arms smuggling operations and support the Houthi militia with its development expertise. Al-Iryani warned during his meeting with Yemen President of the White House at the White House, Alison Minor, of the terrorist practice of the militia backed by Iran and its support of the ideology of sectarian terrorism and polarization of children and turn them into tools to kill and fuel for war through operations. The minister stressed that the legitimate government led by His Excellency President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi, President of the Republic, cannot accept the presence of any rule for Iran in our country, and that this matter is rejected by the minister. Also prized the rule of the Kingdom's Support Coalition under the Kingdom's leadership for their continued support for the restoration of state institutions and the improvements of economic and humanitarian conditions in the country, liberated areas, and to support the national currency exchange and the salaries of employees in the state administration. For its part, confirmed Minor permanent and supportive positions of her country's constitutional legitimacy in our country under the leadership of His Excellency President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi, President of the Republic, praising the efforts of the government in the normalization of public life in the liberated areas. The King Salman Center for Humanitarian Relief and Humanitarian Affairs said that the suspension of the World Food Programme for the distribution of food aid in Sana'a is a result of the horrific acts of the Houthi militia. The center demanded in a statement issued by the Center for Human Rights during the press release issued by it to put an end to the inhuman actions of the militia against humanitarian aid and the organizations, and obstructing their work, and the looting of aid and the destruction of some of them and the sale of the others. The coup is outside the humanitarian law, whether by recruiting children and putting them in the midst of armed conflict, using human shields and planting indiscriminate mines that have exceeded 1 million mines, attacking schools, or manipulating the destruction of food in areas under their control. In this regard, the Center calls upon the United Nations and its working agencies in Yemen to address the practice of terrorist militia backed by Iran, pointing out that the only victim of this practice is the Yemeni people. A number of civilians, including a woman and a child, were injured following heavy shelling of Houthi militia targeting a number of villages in Hajar, west of Al-Dhala. Local residents said that 3 civilians were wounded between the serious and the medium in mortar shelling of the Houthi militia, and they transferred to Aden city due to the seriousness of the injuries. And in the village of Bir Qais in the area of Hajar, 2 civilians were injured, one of which was amputated in a bombardment of the Houthi militia targeting the houses of citizens. To the Arab coalition aircraft launched airstrikes targeting rocket and artillery positions in the area. The reality of the concentration of Houthi militia and shelling of civilians in the stone areas northwest of Al-Dhala. Al-Houthi militia failed to launch a ballistic missile from a mobile platform at a Dailami base near Sana'a International Airport and killed Iranian expert while trying to fire a missile from a base near Sana'a, controlled by the Houthi militia. Local sources said Iranian experts and other Houthi militias were killed by the missile exploded when it tried to launch it from a Dailami base north of Sana'a. The base is located 16 kilometers from Sana'a and borders Sana'a International Airport. Oben was killed and another wounded in a mortal shell attack by the Houthi militia on the village of Shakhab northwest of the District of Qataba in the province of Al-Dhala. Local sources said that the militia indiscriminately bombed the homes of citizens in the village of Shakhab as part of a daily targeting of residential neighborhood, pointed out that a mortal shell landed in the house of Abdul Malik Naji Muthanna, which resulted in the death of women and the injury of others and damaged the house completely. The source pointed out that this crime is added to the crimes of militia daily targeting civilians worse by indiscriminate shelling or sniping, which led to the death and wounding dozens of civilians in the departments of Qataba and Stone Dala and Al-Azraq. Omen was killed and others were wounded when a shell fired by the Al-Houthi militia fell in a crowd of citizens in the town of Hais in the province of Hodeidah. Local sources said that Aisha Fari' was murdered and her husband, the son, and others were injured by a shell fired by the militia while they were gathering next to the water tank. Al-Houthi militia tanks the mine water project in the directorate to sources added that the shell is one of dozens of missiles fired by the militia indiscriminately at houses and communities of citizens and various areas that have been liberated. The military police forces in the province of Dala to dismantle explosive devices, remnants of Al-Houthi militia north of Dala province, and the commander of the military police in the province, Colonel Fadel Aklan, that the police forces dismantled 4 explosive devices under the mountain and the directorate of Qataba north of Dala, adding that a patrol of police forces found explosive devices near of the checkpoint in the north of the directorate of Qataba, and the team of experts dismantled and explained that the militia Houthi planted mines and explosive devices in the sites and mountains and areas that were stationed in the north and west of the directorate. Local sources say that Al-Houthi militia bombed homes in the district of Hay south of province of Hodeidah, adding that the militia Houthi stationed on the outskirts of the directorate fired mortars at the homes of citizens, and the source said that the bombing resulting in causing great damage to the home and property of citizens and spreading fear among their communities.